Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? Oh yeah, I don't know if you guys felt it, but there absolutely was a spiritual jolt today. I don't know how to explain it to people, and I know, yeah, it's on Halloween. No, it's not evil. It was a good one. There are people waking up everywhere. I think whatever transitioning we are in the middle of, it's starting to get more and more powerful. I was encouraged to read the book of Revelations, and I got to an interesting point where it talks about spiritual earthquakes. But the first one that we're talking about was the one that was going to happen in Israel. And they said this earthquake is going to jolt in Jerusalem, and it's going to kill about 7,000 people. And it's definitely going to scare the crap out of people. But that doesn't mean they're going to turn to God because of it, but it will widen their eyes. That's just the start of it, because the earthquake after that is a world changer. So anyways, not to go down that path, because we got some time left before we get there. As I watch the markets and read more and more about what's going on in Iraq, it's really starting to look inevitable that Iraq has to do something with this exchange rate. This gap between the parallel market and the fixed market is starting to get really out of control. We know that al-Sudini had made an announcement that he was going to take some steps to close this gap. Now, al-Sudini is coming over here to the White House over in Washington to speak to Biden. I'm curious what this conversation is going to be about. I'm curious to see if the Biden administration is going to do anything to help Iraq in their situation. He can help flood their country with U.S. dollars, and the dollars would lose value and Iraqi dinars would gain value. Or they could just turn around and increase the exchange rate. I still think they're going to go in increments. But that doesn't mean that we won't wake up one day and all of a sudden you find out that the damn exchange rate's been reinstated. All I'm doing is sharing my opinion. There are a lot of things happening in Iraq that are contributing to the growth of their economy and the strengthening of their currency if Iraq could just get out of their own way. Case in point, let's get into today's news and I'll show what I'm talking about. First off, it says the Iraqi government raises tax by 5% on dealing in cash. They turn to electronic payments. Now, this article is interesting because they're discouraging people from using cash and going more electronic. So what does that mean? Are they going to go 100% cashless, which is what we don't want to see happen, that's for sure. The Iraq government issued a series of recommendations and decisions aimed at encouraging all sectors to move towards electronic payment and reduce cash dealing. Among the decisions are the payment of employee bonuses incentives through bank accounts, as well as the collection of government transaction fees, in addition to studying the possibility of granting depositors interest on the amounts that remain in their accounts for a certain period. Yeah, you remember they were talking about 7%, which is really good return on your savings. The directive stipulates additional fees not exceeding 5% of values of goods and services through cash transactions compared to those collected through electronic payment system. According to the government statement, a major campaign with serious features will be launched to oblige all sectors of the country to move to electronic payments, including simple commercial professions. You know, over here in California, we pay sales tax too, so 5% is really not that high. But if that's an increase compared to where they are, all this does is bring more money into the government, which is a good thing. Now, this is what I was talking about. Steps towards strengthening the Iraqi dinar. As of the beginning of next month, Kurdistan will adopt the Iraqi dinar in crossing and airport transactions. So the Kurdistan regional government decided today, Tuesday, to start dealing in the Iraqi dinar at all border crossing and airports starting from the beginning of next month. The Director General of Customs in Kurdistan region said, in accordance with the decision issued by the Kurdistan regional government, all transactions at border crossing and airports will be done in Iraqi dinar, starting from the beginning of next month. He added that the regional government had previously used the dinar instead of the dollar at some crossings with neighboring countries, adding that there are still some crossings that will be converted into dinar tomorrow. So originally they had dual currency. Some would do dinar, some would do the U.S. dollars, but it looks like they're doing away with the U.S. dollar altogether. The Kurdistan Regional Council of Ministers had issued a resolution number 227, circulated on 9/20/2023 and published on 10/16/2023, which stated, based on the provisions of Article 8 of the Kurdistan Regional Council of Minister Law, number 3 of 1992, it was decided to collect fees, custom duties, custom taxes at border gates, and custom points are in the Iraqi dinars only. So this is a major move. This is awesome. This is great for the Iraqi dinar. This helps strengthen the Iraqi dinar. So basically what Iraq is trying to do is, by pushing everybody over into the electronic platforms, this allows them to closely monitor all transactions. We know there's a problem with Iraq. We have certain individuals who are undervaluing the Iraqi dinar in order to get their hands on US dollars. They're smuggling those dollars into Syria and especially Iran. These are people that are under sanctions. So they're willing to give up more Iraqi dinar just to get their hands on the US dollars. But if they go electronic, it's not going to be very easy for them to smuggle any kind of dollars. They'll be able to be monitored. Of course, you're getting some resistance within the banking sector and amongst those over there in the coordinated framework for obvious reasons. So this article is exactly that. So POSs, points of sale, transactions, they're trying to push people to go as cashless as possible. The committees are talking about the system being implemented and being pushed on the Iraqi people, depositing bonus, incentives, annual profits, and overtime wages granted to employees and those in charge of public service by at least 20% of them in their bank accounts, provided that they are used for electronic payment exclusively and may not be withdrawn in cash. So you see the incentives, that's going to be happening here. They're going to push everybody towards the central bank digital currency, and this is going to be one of the ways they do it. They bribe you into accepting it. Of course, people are going to jump all over it, and then once they got you, that's it. It says adopting financial and accounting information systems for the financial aspect of expenses and revenues, which contributed to the ease of using electronic payment methods and electronic collections. So they won't have no hard time collecting people who owe them money. They could just take it right from you. So it talks about Iraq Central Bank has got to take the necessary steps to make sure that the application is being supported. They have to coordinate with the relevant authorities to exercise an offensive role in supporting projects and electronic payment systems, and a lot of other procedures and steps that are going to be needed in order to make this happen. So I understand their purpose for wanting to do this also allows them to stay in the good graces of the United States. They want to make sure that they are released from their sanctions. That's what we're really waiting for. So even if we woke up in the morning and then you found out that the Iraqi dinar had been reinstated to $3.22, hallelujah. We're rich, right? Jumping around, we're celebrating, but where are you going to redeem your dinar at? If they are still under sanctions, your options are going to be very limited here in the United States. Like I said, I think Chase Bank still deals with the Iraqi dinars, but not a lot of other companies or banks do just because of the sanctions. So it would be very interesting to see what happens. Will they be released from their sanctions before the revaluation? Or if they do an RI, are they going to be released from the sanctions before they do a reinstatement? Very, very interesting to see what's going to happen. Kurdistan government, Baghdad, will send 700 billion dinars to the region this week. Well, we've heard that before. Let's see if they actually get there. The Kurdistan government deserves it. They got to pay their employees just like anybody else. Let's hope it gets there. We've been hearing about this now for months? If there are no other reasons, 700 billion dinars will be sent to the Kurdistan region this week. The Minister of Finance and Economy of the Kurdistan Regional Government announced the start of procedures for depositing the amount of 700 billion dinars into the Kurdistan Regional Financial Account. The Kurdistan government decided to send the delegations to Baghdad in the middle of this week in order to settle the amount of the cash loan that it agreed with the federal government to send to pay employee salaries. It is noteworthy that according to this agreement, Baghdad is scheduled to disperse two payments of 700 billion dinars during the remainder of this year. The remainder of this year, there's not very many months left. Okay, we're going right into November and then December. So if they are expecting two deposits of $700 billion, that's going to be very nice for the Kurdistan region, that's for sure. So things are looking really good for Iraq. They still manage to be keeping their nose out of what's going on over there in the Middle East, even though it's starting to escalate. So Iraq, behave, stay out of that, and keep focusing on your people. Anyways, that's it for now. Let me know what you think. I look forward to hearing from you. I'm out.